Did I push all the right buttons? That's my voice. That's my face. Is that my face over here? It appears to be my face. It appears to be my gray hair. Here. Hi, hello, it's me, Scott. I don't know what we're doing at all, actually. I was focused on other things, and then I ate lunch too fast. And now it's time to stream. All of a sudden, it just snuck up on me. But I thought that I would just start and just figure it out as I went along, which is normally what I do. So obviously the most important thing, Draken's lurking, what a creep. Most important thing, as usual, is to pick the wallpaper of the day. We're still using Norway. Actually, that one's kind of nice. Maybe just go with this one. There's some sort of strange kelp or something. There's some strange creature emerging from the frigid waters. I don't know what it is. So, what are we doing? We are working on some kind of residency project. We did our first official residency stream yesterday, and I talked way too much about myself, and that's fine. And then we did like a new, oh yeah, we did a new heat overlay. Does it work? Yeah. We have our new heat overlay, which may grow very irritating. The latency doesn't seem very good. Why is my latency so bad? I'm right here. I'm here in this very room. Okay, well, we have this heat overlay, so we'll see. Who's doing that? Is that Draklin? I was thinking about next steps in the residency. You know, we've been doing some experiments. We have like some kind of path forward. Like we have the foundation of an idea. One of the things I talked about yesterday are sort of my goals for the residency and like the general themes and aims of what I would like the work to be. But after that, I was thinking about, okay, well, so we have these aspirational elements, and we also have we have our demos so far. And right now, the way I'm feeling is that there's a disconnect between what we have and where we want to be, which is, you know, obviously, of course, like we've got some road to travel before we get to whatever the thing we're making is. But I guess I just mean that in terms of like the tools we've been building so far, this wave your phone around thing that seems to be working and getting that data and visualizing it, even though we don't know what the visualization is. When I look at what the possibilities are for that, and I look at where I want to end up with this project, again, I don't know what that destination is. It's incredibly fuzzy, very vague. In fact, I saw something that was about a diagram. Let's see. So a certain fellow created this diagram describing their creative process. And it definitely resonated with me. Not perfectly so, but it was enough to it resonated somewhat. And it got me thinking a little bit. If I can just find this thing, it is called something. We'll find it. We're gonna find it. Don't worry. Good heavens. The Newman Design Process Squiggle. The designsquiggle.com. And this gets a little like, I don't know. It's a little like, I don't know quite the word I want to use. It's a little too cute. It's like a little too intentional. It's a little too deliberate. I don't know, but there's something to it. I will admit that. And this squiggle is supposed to be an illustration of the design process researching, uncovering insights, generating creative concepts, iteration of prototypes, and eventually concluding in one single designed solution. Now, I think there's some truth to this, and we're definitely in this stage where it's just utter nonsense, and we're just making things. But we also have an eye to hear, so it's not fully a linear process. Like, we have some kind of eye, some kind of vision of where we want to be. It's not purely like this. In fact, I might propose that in some cases, there's this point in the future that's working back towards us, and we're working towards it. So we have sort of our process that we have moving forward. And then as we refine our process, as we go through this, we're going to have a better idea of what this is before we even arrive at it. So this notion that this much of the process is stable is absurd to me, because really it should probably be like this. And in fact, the delivery date should probably be like here, and then it's stabilizing after that. So I don't love this, but there's something to it for sure. And so we're definitely in this process, easily in this most chaotic realm. And some of the things I like about this, you can take this a little literally, and you'll see there's like backtracking, and there's reaching out to far fields and changing your mind and circling back. Like, those are all, it's all certainly figurative, but there's some literal parallels, at least in how the mental process is going. And what I'm a little worried about, well, more than a little, to be frank, is with such a short amount of time, sometimes I feel a pressure to be like, no, what you need to do is decide, and you need to work on it, because the work is what will make the project good, not whatever indecision I'm waffling on. So there's a certain point where I just had to say, like, this is the thing this is going to be, and I'm going to work on it. But I kind of don't feel like we're to that point yet, because I don't think that I did enough. I don't think I've done enough to like explore the possibility space, even the narrow possibility space of, you've got a phone, I've got a screen, what are we going to do with it? Like, we've done stuff like that over time, but in the last few weeks, we've focused on only a very narrow, specific version of that, which the one we've explored the most is this: you hold your phone in your hand and you wave it around. We've also looked at various other kind of things like computer vision and stuff like that. So I think I want to, for the moment, table the accelerometer thing, because one, the path from it to a nice final isn't very clear to me, and it's like, it was my first try. It was my first option. And while there's still some things I certainly like about it, that doesn't mean it's the best. It doesn't mean it's the best idea. So we did do this thing up here at one point where we were looking at, well, if we were going to go with other kinds of motion tracking, what are some other things we'd want to do? And truly, to me, the most appealing one, with no other things considered, is ARKit. Because I feel pretty confident that it's robust and it would let us track a skeleton reasonably. And if it was just purely about the function of tracking something like augmented reality stuff, I feel like ARKit is cool and does some cool stuff. It has incredibly huge disadvantages. One of those huge disadvantages is that it only works on mobile Apple devices. So not only limited to Apple devices, which not everybody has, it has to be the mobile devices. So it doesn't matter if you have a Apple laptop or an Apple desktop, iMac, whatever. And certainly if you have what I have here, which is a PC, we just can't work on it in an easy way currently at this moment. And it would be very narrow availability in terms of lots of people have those devices, certainly, but it's not as open as I would like it to be. So that kind of cuts that out. Similarly for AR Core. So like, we wouldn't want to go one route or the other. We wouldn't want to say we're only going to go the iOS route or we're only going to go the Android route. The issue is, even if we decided to do something with like Unity AR Foundation, there's a Venn diagram sort of the functionality of these two frameworks, and the overlap is narrow. relatively narrow, comparatively narrow, in terms of what they both can do. Especially ARKit seems to have a lot more. So even and it's, even if it's not a super thin slice, it's still only an overlap. So we would have to develop in such a way, maybe using something like Unity AR Foundation, that would address both of these, a subset of the functionality of both, and we'd have some basic augmented reality stuff going on. That's still super annoying, however, because there's no easy way to do this over the web. Google and Firefox, I think, have experimental browsers that support ARKit and ARCore as, gosh, what was that thing called? It's like, I don't even know if they're still working on it. Is this even the right article? I can run VR and AR if I have the appropriate hardware. So that's something. But what about on this cellular telephone over here? I would expect to be able to do some web VR stuff, but web AR, I don't know about that. I forgot what those, there's like Chrome Canary builds, one that supports ARCore and one that supports ARKit, and allow you to do AR stuff in a web browser. But you have to have, can't just be any web browser. You have to have a web browser that supports it, which is annoying. immersive-web.github.io. Samples. Your browser does not support WebXR, but you appear to be running on a mobile device. You may be able to run virtual reality experiences on sites that use the WebXR polyfill like this one. Yeah, so web AR is just not going to work, I think. AR not found. And even if I do this, yeah. Which, there's still some things you could do. I could drag it around, but suddenly you have these different targets where it's like, who supports what? Now, if it was Chrome, I wouldn't be too crazy to say, hey, my browser does not support WebXR. You've heard of me run blah, 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 blah. No. Gosh, what was that thing called? We need WebXR polyfill. There are some browsers. That polyfill I've used before, it used to just be the Web AR. WebXR augmented reality module. So what do I need to do this though? Two years ago, 3 years ago, March 30th, that's not bad. I feel like they're doing a bad job of telling me, hey, this is what you need to use this. It's just me. I mean, doesn't it seem, am I unreasonable to think that the samples page should say, hey, these are the things that you can do, or these are the devices that you can use? So let's see. This thing, I don't know if they still support this. This has not been touched in a long time. So that's not very promising. Web AR supported browsers. What? Yeah, but this is not the same thing. I want like actual real low-level API support. Like that's what these things are. Web AR on ARKit and Web AR on ARCore, but those no longer seem to be supported, which is not great. This appears to still be supported. This is just for marker tracking now, right? Like 5 days ago. So image tracking, location-based, marker tracking, all on the web. But this is just a small subset of what ARKit can do, for example. Scan this picture. Let's do it. Maybe I'll see a scary dinosaur. It's been pretty disappointing that Unity has not pushed on this. There's such a weird division in the world right now of between who's betting on VR and who's betting on AR. And there's some overlap in those camps, but like not a lot. In Unity, while they do through, they have AR Foundation and they do support Vuforia, will to some extent supports AR stuff, but not like they don't support it in their WebGL builds, for example, which is not the coolest. Okay, so I want to try this spooky. So this is image tracking and location-based AR. Great. Well, that was not. Oh, there's two different builds. I see. Yeah, I want to open this live example. And it doesn't work already. This was my experience a few years ago working on some of this stuff, is that it is so poorly supported. Yes, you can have my camera. Yes, you can have my motion. And let's look at a dinosaur. Scan this picture. A dinosaur happened. It's very shaky tracking. The dinosaur appears to be eating my microphone. Incredibly shaky tracking. Like impressively not very stable. But it is running in a web browser without any of the low-level API support, so there is that. Okay, dinosaur. Well, we got a dinosaur, and then I assume there's like also yeah, marker-based. Oops. No. Is this also going to be a dinosaur? Who can say? So like location-based would just be like spatially compass-driven kind of. All right, the marker-based example does not work in Chrome on iOS, which is annoying. Get the camera. Okay. And then you. It's another dinosaur. It was a dinosaur the whole time. And this one is dangling upside down near my microphone. Very, very swimmy. Also. So this is, I mean, I don't want to like seem like I'm super down on this project because I think it's interesting. I think like they've accomplished something pretty impressive in terms of doing, especially that image-based tracking in a web browser. It's pretty good, but it is not as good as both in terms of stability, seemingly. Admittedly, I just messed with it for a second. Or certainly in terms of features as those two low-level APIs from Apple and Google. There are some other, but I don't have a ton of faith in these, because whatever they are, they're just running in JavaScript land. They're not like, I mean, it's funny that these are still linked, because it doesn't seem like these have been touched in a very long time. May of 2018. So we're at 2 years since these have been touched. Google's bad about that. I don't really trust Google to maintain things for a really long time. So I feel, seems a bit like maybe Google has given up on that. Also, the fact that Create Web XR, excuse me, they forgot to change their title, I guess, isn't up to date, especially in terms of these here things. So these people, they seemingly have sort of rebuilt a lot of the features, like the spatial tracking that AirKit and AirCore do. They've seemingly rebuilt those to run in the browser, which is pretty cool. But again, it's not using the low-level stuff, and I think you have to pay for it. I don't know what these other things are. I feel like I've heard of It's not the Amazon one, is it? Face tracking in the web, any device. Cool. Flying. I'm afraid. But, you know, the main thing that turns me off on this is whatever it is, it's browser-based development. So even if they have really nice tracking, still means everything gets built in the browser. It's completely web-based. No coding. Well, that doesn't sound very good. No app downloads. That actually sounds good. That's certainly the biggest advantage, because I don't really want to release an app. So, you know, it takes time. There's major overhead to releasing an app, especially if you're releasing it to both stores, to the Play Store and the App Store. So we get both of these only if we were building native applications, which we could do in Unity. And we could then have some spatial understanding of the world, but not about people or people's bodies. So, like, that's very good if you want to say, like, tap on the floor and put a robot on the floor. I don't feel that great. This is that. Right, this one is Snapchat, which it has no networking support, so it's kind of a non-starter for us. And this is Instagram, I think, which does seem to have network support. So I don't know very much about Spark AR at all. And it may be a total non-starter, but it is, like, this is a no-go, I feel like. These are, I'm discouraged by all of the problems. This AirKit full skeletal, if it wasn't limited to Apple devices, would be pretty neat. We did get shoulders, wrists, elbows here, which was kind of cool, but not full skeleton, right? We only got faces and hands here. So up to now, we've been using like the accelerometer to tilt around and do stuff. So in thinking of other like novel ways to control interface, which I do kind of like that. There's things about it I like. There's things about it I don't like. It's kind of shaky and hard to control. And at this moment, you need two devices to use it because you need to, whatever's going on in your hand, and you need to see what's going on the screen. But there's something to it that I kind of like. In fact, I like it enough that I think it's worth seeing through, excuse me, to a more robust prototype. But yeah, again, you need two devices and it's sort of shaky and weird. And I don't have immediate great ideas on how you should get from about how you get from what we have now, which is just sort of a cube with some chaos around it, to something that looks nice. There's lots of sort of simplified control versions. So another possibility is we kind of step back from the novel control idea and we think like, well, what if it is just about navigating a virtual space on your phone? And there's good or reasonably good patterns for that, right? It's a little bit boring and it's a little bit conventional, but it is something we could do. And then whatever the tool is to create whatever individuals are going to create would be in there. Or there is this idea of using your face to do things. Now in a browser, I only know of one way to do that, and it's very expensive. So I'm curious to know I don't really care about recognition. I think I tried that. Didn't we try that? We tried this on stream. I can't remember if I got this to work. This clam tracker. March 13. Weboji. A kitty. No, it's not very stable tracking. Wait, what was this one? Oh. Demonstrations. Well, I'll try some of these. I realize this is maybe not the best thing to do on a stream because I'm just trying things on my phone, but you can try along at home. Okay, so this is github.com. Sure is nice when you're on a Mac and the Safari just sends the address over easily. Julius. Web Boji. Okay. Live demo of a cute raccoon. Yes. That's my face. So it has drawn a blue box around my face, and that's all that happened. There's no cute raccoon. Who's that clicking? What vandal is this? Is that Draclin? So that doesn't work. Great. Let's try this SVG based demo. Live demo. Give it the camera. I wouldn't exactly say it works, but it's something like it's getting my head tilt. It's getting something like some facial expression, so that's good. Piano Genie, play the piano with your face expression. It sounds fun. I'm gonna use my face. Oh, so my eyebrows play different notes. Upper eye, okay. What does this sound like? This is me playing this song with my face. It's a very beautiful song. You're into that? Wait, which part? The playing the piano with my face? You should check this plugin out. Okay, that's interesting. We can get some expressions, but I want a little more control than that. So life is yours. How are you? How's your week going? Okay, that seems broken. Great. Drowsiness detection. Expression reader. Emotionreader.glitch.me. Kinda works. Your big exam tomorrow about object-oriented programming? Just watch some Jonathan Blow videos about why he hates it so much. So what do we actually get from this thing? Does it just give the expression? Does it tell you about the points it's tracking? Because that's something that, so let's say we have two paths. One path is definitely the swing your phone around, which is pretty fun. That does the thing, but certainly has its limits. Another idea is that you control it with your face. Which, could be fun. It's fun to make faces, certainly. There are a fair number of things at the museum that are based on face making. I'm actually working on one right now. I want more. I want more fun demos. Why did the cute raccoon not work? That's what I want to know. So it's giving head tilt. So what do we get? Face detection and tracking, but individual points. It recognizes some facial expressions. It's mobile friendly and examples are provided with SVG and 3JS. So I could definitely see it might be kind of interesting to try to do a thing with your face. What are our other, what else we got here? I already don't like this because of what they're using for tests. But is this good for video or is this for stills? Like, I don't like it. I need my camera. I'm already using it. I have another camera right here. I don't think it's plugged in. Camera, are you plugged in? No. Do I have anywhere to plug it in? Maybe. I'm gonna use the wrong camera though, right? No camera found. Thanks. Can I not say which camera to use? Wait, where were we? We were here? What do you mean no camera found? I've got a camera right in my hand. Fixate facial landmarks. Okay. Interesting. I remember trying this one. That's not me. Oh yeah, this is the, I remember we played with all this stuff. It's pretty weird. It's definitely weird. I can build my own face tracking? Ugh. I don't, like, there's certain kinds of programming that I have, like, no patience for, and computer vision is one of them because it's so like really kind of lots of machine learning, computer vision, all of that stuff it's like it feels so sloppy to me. Like it can be so weird. Like computer vision where it's like, I don't know, let's randomly pick a bunch of points on the screen and try to make assumptions about them. And like they work. And there are some really clever, very impressive solutions that are created with those technologies, but something about it, for me at least, I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I feel like this is using the wrong camera, which is annoying. What about this cool Cartman? It says it's cool right there. I just click the wrong button. Yes, use the camera, but use the correct camera. I don't know which one. Maybe it's that one. Or is that the problem? Like they're always asking for camera index 0 or something instead of giving me the option to pick it. Maybe a thing that just doesn't work while I'm using webcam. Yeah, autofocus is a good. Autofocus is a good example of that too, of how guessy it is. But more and more stuff we use every day is being driven by those kinds of algorithms because computers are fast enough that you can just be like, I don't know, let's just guess a whole bunch. Let's make a whole lot of assumptions very, very quickly, which is interesting, I suppose. So let me just, okay, it looks like we have some potential options for some face tracking approaches if we wanted to do it. But the question I guess is, would we want to? So obviously there's that one that we could control things by blinking and moving our eyes and making faces. And that is interesting. But one, it feels a little too close to something I'm already working on. And two, it feels a little, there's already a lot of stuff that tracks your face. Like there's lots of things that you can do on a phone right this minute. Computers are dumb. They're not dumb. They're like surprisingly blunt instruments in a lot of ways. Like, and that works for us Well, yeah, that may be true, that humans are dumb. I think computers aren't dumb. They're just blunt instruments that are capable of only very simple things, but they can do those simple things at mind-blowing speed so that when you add them up, they seem like really complicated things. Like, you know, at the very, 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 very base level, like at the machine instruction level, I don't think there's anything enormously complicated happening, right? It's just a bunch of math, and it's not even the most complicated math. I think that's fair to say, especially on just, I mean, GPUs are weird, but CPUs. And it's only just because we can do a whole bunch of simple things. We got a lot of flops. We got a lot of gigaflops and teraflops, a lot of floating point operations we can do very, very quickly. Okay, so advantages and disadvantages of this. Everybody has a face. Most kiddos, especially, like to make faces and like to see their face. But yeah, it feels a little too much like something else I'm already working on, which I don't like that. And also, I don't have a great idea for it. Like, if our goal is to create something, either every person who uses it creates some small piece of something that becomes something very big, or there's just something very big that is continually shifting and changing based on what everybody's doing. And I can kind of see with our hand moving thing, like, yeah, I could see that we could do something with that. But we could hook those facial expressions up to anything, I guess. We could come up with some like parametric design tool that used your face contortions to control it, but I don't know. I would like it to feel a little more. I don't want it to be like, oh, there's a button there and I just happen to be able to push that button with my face. Like, that piano thing is funny, but it's not like you're creating music with your face. It's just that your left eyebrow always hits a certain key, which is funny and interesting, but it's not quite what I want to do. I want it to be more like, no, the act of, in this example, shifting my eyebrow around should actually do something in the world. So I'm a little bit I'm turned off by these face-only ones. Now, if we could have your hands and we knew what your hands were doing, that would be something pretty special. But I don't think we have. Maybe AirKit can do it. Looks like Spark. To some extent, these guys could do that, but it seems like they're a little rough. Oops, sorry. We're not talking about music. But again, that's this. But that example is still the same thing. Hands doing pitch is like, okay, it's like a pitch wheel and my hands control it. Like, we did some of that stuff with Hello Sunshine, where you were controlling your hands and changing the sounds based on what the sun was doing. But that's a little bit different. Controlling the piano with but I was pushing buttons with my face. So it's not the same. It's not the same as, it's like, oh, if there's a button, well, yeah, I could reach down and push it with my nose. I could throw a marble and it would hit that button. Like, that's not the same as actually creating something, like creating a sound. Like you could do some synthesized, generative, digital synth where the parameters of it are controlled with facial expressions or something. But that's not, I don't know, that's not what I want to get at. It's like, I don't want to just be pushing buttons with. Do I want to have a face synthesizer? No, I don't. I'm saying I don't want to do anything with a face, probably. I don't think so. I'm just thinking through if I think it's worthwhile exploring these, any ideas based on face tracking. But I don't think it is. Really, I want to know where your whole body is. Really, I kind of want to make it, I still want to work on that VR thing we started a few months ago. Is my favorite idea still, where you just reach into yourself and pull things out, and those things are like little galaxies or planets or whatever, and they play music as you pull them out of your heart. I still like that, but that's not going to work. That's not going to work here. I don't think I want to make a VR thing for this. I kind of want to, but I don't think it's the right answer. So, kind of feel like these are off the table because I don't have an interesting thing that I'd want to do just by tracking a marker or even spatial tracking. And the features that would let me track your face or your body, I don't think would be easily supported in a cross-platform way. Lens Studio has no network support, so it's off the table. Spark AR, there's something, I guess. Like, it requires an Instagram account, which is not ideal, I think. I might be wrong about that, but I think that's the only place it can go. Yeah, Instagram. Because I believe it does have network support. I think that's true. It also has very important eyebrow and mustache technology. That's very important as well. It's very stable tracking. Yeah, there's something to this for sure. The hand tracking is actually very interesting. The problem is, like, what do? You just like set your phone down, lean it on the counter, and then you stand back and you wave your hands. I kind of like that. Like, there's certainly something to that. The hand tracking. You know, like planar tracking. This is kind of interesting. Put somebody in a different place while you're doing stuff. So the hand tracker. Why did they show this man's face for the hand tracking example? I mean, looks like he's having a good time, which is great. But nowhere in this hand tracking example does it actually show a hand. Is that weird? Feels a little weird. Okay, so let's think on that for a second. Like, what if you could have your two hands and you could stand back and you could make a thing? You need a mobile device still, but you only need that one device. You need an Instagram account, presumably. Tracking hands. That's interesting. What if there's any just like open JavaScript hand trackers? Is it only for mobile apps? What? Sorry, Spark AR? This guy is only for, this is for basically making effects in Instagram. Yeah, but it does a lot of the work for you. And it's a very popular platform. You wouldn't have to have somebody download something new. So that's kind of interesting. I kind of want to try it. I kind of want to do something in that realm. Like, some of these actually are kind of cool. I'm gonna admit it. I think there's some cool stuff. Wonder what it takes to release one, though. Like, do you have to get approved? Does it go to some special place? Like, I wonder what that... I mean, there's a whole lot of... Oh, that kaleidoscope's pretty cool. This is a very shiny person. I kind of want to try to just make a thing in there just to see what it's like. What does it take to join the community? Oh, I don't want to do that. That's a Facebook group. Do I need a... Okay, here's the real thing, though. Do I have to have a Facebook account to do it? Because I don't want a Facebook account. So see what they look like on your device. Publish with the Error Hub. Yeah, I guess I don't quite understand like what it takes to get it out into the world. You know, like what's the trick? God, it's getting started. Publishing my effect. "10 business days. Woof. What did you find? Well, how to make a custom Instagram face filter. Well, I don't want to watch a 14-minute video. I can just, it's right here. I can read this text. Okay, so it has to get approved. There's extra guidelines for Instagram. Really, the big thing that I think would be questionable, maybe, is the networking stuff I'd want to do. Like that's right. Read when you can. Because I can read something in 20 seconds. Whatever they say over the course of that 14-minute video, I could read it in 20 seconds. I'm positive. Okay, so what about these JavaScript hand trackers, though? Haven't been updated in a while. So is this just blobs? Or do I get like... Interesting. Okay. What's a misconception? Misconception is one word. Not a woman who married, an unmarried woman whose father's last name was Conception. It's certainly not a misconception that I can read and digest something more quickly than someone could explain it in a video. I have many years of experiences. Yeah, images could, sure, like a useful infographic, but that's not what YouTube videos are. YouTube videos are so much fluff and drama and intros and outros and ad breaks and explanations and repeating things and building fake suspense, and YouTube is not where I go to learn anything. That's like 30,000 words per second. What if the image doesn't change very much though? Okay. I mean, that's relatively stable for jumping all over the place. There's a lot of drops, but not too horrible. Ooh, TensorFlow. Not very fast. Will you let me pick the camera I use? Probably not. Oh, we gotta load the model. Ah, TensorFlow, you're cool, but there's like so much overhead. So we're just apparently downloading some giant hand data set at the moment, I guess. Yes, these are both hands. You're right. Hand. That's not a hand, that's a pawn. That's a hand. That is not a hand. That is, though. Are we just like slow to update? I'm kind of interested in this. Because I mean, that's kind of our goal, right? Like our goal with the with the accelerometer was to track hands. But if we could track hands with computer vision, I don't have a ton of confidence in this though. I feel like it's going to be slow. Man, a little annoying that it doesn't let me just pick the specific camera. I don't know. You have the same names. Oh no, I gotta download that model again. Okay, I'll try it. Victor Divya didn't write the browser code properly. Which part? So far, all of our web demos have not wanted to. Well, yeah, like the hand tracking changing when you switch seemed like it was having problems. Maybe. Oh, now it seems like it's working. Yeah, maybe after, I don't know. Maybe I broke it because now it seems like it's working. There's no hands here. If you lower the confidence, there's hands all over the place. Okay, let's try this. I think that Victor did a good job. Divya. And I'm grateful that he chose to share it. Handtrack.js. But I kind of think it's not right for us. Victor Divya.github. That's an IO. Almost. I almost typed the URL correctly. Okay. This is not a very mobile-friendly website. Unfortunately. Okay, that's me. Wait. Click an image to start or stop the video. Well, it kind of worked, but then it didn't actually update the video. It found my hand, and then the video broke? It's just me making a very concerned face. It's not actually updating in real time. But we're getting like 20 frames per second on my phone. It's not great. Not super great. I feel like I've used tracking.js before. No, I used some, maybe it was like features.js. But I think this does not do hands. No. A snowplow tracker. So we can track snow, what? And it could be some kind of native application. Boy. What a mess. I wonder if this fellow, though. Let's try this. Let's try typing these GitHub URLs is not the most exciting thing in the world. In fact, why am I doing this? I'm just going to start pasting them in Discord and then going to the link. Why didn't I do that already? Life is yours. Why do you let me do this nonsense? Okay. This is JC Malados. Basic demo Is it going to work on my phone? Access. That's my face. So similarly, something wrong with my phone because this just froze also. Just like that other demo did. It gets one frame and then expires. Yes, you can have the camera. It gave me a cool mask, like it didn't work very well. Oh, computer vision, why are you so bad? That's why, like, I would, you know, for this other project that I'm working on that uses face tracking, I spent some time trying to do it myself using all the academic examples, but they're academic. They're academic examples. They're not ready for production. They're not ready for like the real life world. And so for that project, we ended up buying a relatively expensive license for software to do the job, but it does the job. So I guess I'll try it in another browser, but I really don't think it's gonna work. Let's try the basic webcam demo. Didn't work at all, not even kind of. Great. I guess I could do this. Let's do this. If I do, I can just totally disable my video capture device. Deactivate. You still hear me, right? I seem to still be hearable. Okay, now can I do this? What? Which camera? I don't know. What are you doing? Are these gonna work? Maybe this is just a... You're allowed. But I can't pick the camera. Maybe I made it mad by plugging in another camera. Maybe that was a poor choice. Hey, there's me. Hi, it's me. Is that my hand? Hand. I'm gonna say that this hand tracker is not working very well. Hand. Okay, maybe not. How about this one? This one. Pretty good. Nice 20-ish, 20 to 25 frames per second. It actually does a pretty good job, though, of hands like in arbitrary orientations. Pretty impressed with that. Fists. I wonder how big the training set is. Or whatever the right word. Data set. Oh, we're drawing a picture. I want to draw it. How do I draw it? Doodle. A fun game. That cool display. Wait, doodle. I want to doodle. Doodle, yeah, great. Yeah, once it's partially out of frame, that's problematic. Oh, is it only... that is a problem though, like consistently understanding which hand is which. is, seems like maybe this doesn't do that. It's pretty good though. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm trying like different hand shapes. Actually, bound IDs, it sort of seemed like they did previously, right? I mean, I don't know. No, that's probably the confidence level. But, you know, I don't think it'd be too hard to make assumptions about that. Well, it's not just Palm. It does various. Must be trained on a pretty large data set. How big's the data set? That's not what I meant to do. How do you do the thing where you put it down here? Yeah. You know. It's going to be the biggest thing, I assume. Where is it? I would have thought that it was... disk cache. Don't I have the thing that's like disable cache when developing whatever? Where's that thing? Here's your fingertip. Yeah, that's true. It's just the centroid of, which is okay. I mean, I think I would be okay with that. Yeah, that like detecting individual fingers would be a whole nother business. Which you could probably do with TensorFlow. I know so little about machine learning. There's other kinds of. That's not the only way to do it. I think this hand track, this was not based on a data model. I think this is based on like, or not that one. The other one we were looking at was more like feature detection rather than working from a, whatever the word I want is. Training data set. Where is the thing that disables cache? Yes, you. Disable cache while disables. Is it you? I'm gonna just assume it's all these big old binary blob things split into pieces, 2 of 5. And they're about 4 megs each, so it's like 20-ish megadata, which that's not terrible, but not great if it's somebody. The hand tracking out of the Vive SDK. The hand tracking in the Oculus Quest is pretty impressive, but all those things are like low level. It's not like JavaScript code running in a bloated browser. Okay, back to, how about the Pong game? Well, it thinks, that was weird. It thought my arm was a hand. What would be nice, and I just don't think there's a way to do it, is not very responsive. The frame rate's so not great. But actually, maybe is that a thing you could do with web workers? Because the frame rate of the game seems to be better than the frame rate of my video. Like, could I do all the TensorFlow stuff as like a web worker or something and not slow down the rendering of whatever I was trying to do? Kind of like this. Kind of into it. What does this do? The friend-like guy, wait, does what with this whole game engine? Hard stuff run in a web. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That, I mean, I don't really want to rewrite this hand tracker, but also, how would I? Like, what if I wanted to use this in Unity? I think I could. I could bind a texture. I could do all the web stuff still in a browser. Like if we wanted to do some Unity thing. Interesting. Do we want to start on this? Do we want to like make a little start? Free face tracking. Wait. What's the free face tracking? I'm so bad at, like, I don't look at chat and I don't see what you say right when you say it. And then because the video has a delay, I've already forgotten what we're talking about. I apologize for that. Oh, my elbow? It kind of is, huh? Relatively confident. But only like 70%. But it's very confident of these. These are tend to be above 90, but not when they're at weird angles. It hasn't tracked my face yet, has it? Oh, it did while I was moving. Yep, you're right. I mean, you know, these kind of image-based models are what they are. You tell a computer a whole bunch of times, this is what a hand looks like, and then a computer will see something and be like, that's a hand, even if it's not a hand. The human brain does that too. It like, you know, you'll have the thing, you have that short circuit to your amygdala, and you'll see like a water hose, and you'll think it's a snake. Cats do it. When you show a cat a cucumber. So, and then, you know, later something comes in, like a later confidence filter passes and says, that's not actually a snake, it's a cucumber. So our brains, what's weird is, you know, just like we were talking before, how dumb all of the computer vision, machine learning stuff seems, our brains are kind of like that too. There's so many weird processes that go on with the way we perceive the world. So it's not totally naive that we do these weird goofball things, but model the hand based on vertices. What do you mean? Like it doesn't, that's not exactly how this works. I don't know exactly the method it's using, but if it was something like histogram of oriented gradients or whatever, I don't know what it's using, but basically something is going through these and turning these images into numbers somehow. And then it's turning the webcam images into numbers. That's at least how, well, I don't know actually. I don't know what the model is. That's how like, well, but how would you turn it into vertices? Like what do you, if you don't know what a hand is to draw the vertices of the hand, like, yeah, but think about how hard that is. You can look for blobs, and then you can look for blobs that are hand-like. I think probably some of these OpenCV tutorials work in that way, I would imagine. Trying track a hand in real time. I bet if we look at this, it's something like that. Like first we look for blobs, and then we look for, well, you're gone. Then we look for kind of some features of the blobs, like, and all we have are pixels. Now, as soon as you start adding depth, you have a lot more data to work with, right? That's why it's nice. Yeah, but at hard edge, you have to do the work to detect those things, sure. But that's, it's not an invalid approach, it's just a different approach. I don't intuitively know which one's better than the other. They're both kind of slow. Almost the only machine learning I've ever done are support vector machines, where you you find a way to turn something into numbers, and then it's like this multi-dimensional vector, and you just use it for distances from a trained data set. So you always have a data set, at least with the stuff that I've done. But there's assuredly many kinds of hand tracking algorithms that I know nothing about, no question. I've used HAR cascade classifiers. But I bet these wouldn't be as good. I don't think these would be as good, because something that we get from this hand tracker is I get this, I get this, I get this, I get this, I get all of these things that are like permutations of what a hand could be, you know? And if you were limiting your perception of what a hand was to, oh, it's a thing that looks like this, it's a thing that's a big blob, and then there's 5 things that stick out of it oriented in a certain way, you suddenly can't track something like this. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed that it gets this. That's pretty good. Like, there's nothing about this. There's not much about this that's a hand. You know? That's still pretty impressive. And that's why I think the world has kind of moved towards this classification-based approach, because the real work of it is having a big enough corpus of data to work with. That's how the face tracking stuff that I using on this other project works. That's how most of anything I've done that has some kind of machine learning element is based on a big old training set. And I wonder how this person did it. Like, I'm curious, where did the data come from? The model training. Yeah, where did you get these? Oh, Ego Hands dataset. Captured on a Google Glass device. That's nice. So they got a whole bunch of hands. That to me is what starts to make this more accessible than other things. Like, once, you can rely on these universities, that's something that's really great about certain kinds of academic models, where at a university like this, they can have the resources to say, okay, we're going to end up with 15,000 hands. That would be difficult for a person, just an average person, to get their hands on. So, like, academic organizations have the ability to do that, and commercial organizations have the ability to do that. Individual people, not so much. It's funny how inconsistent the frame rate seems to be. Maybe it's only updating as I change. But I like it. I think there's something to this for sure. I'm definitely. Now we get like 3-dimensional rotations. We would lose that. Versus just thinking, like, comparing this to what we have with the mobile phone tracking. Identifying which hand is which is a little annoying, but you'd kind of just assume that it was the hand that was closest, like wherever your hand was the previous frame, and then find the closest hand to that and just assume that those are the hands. Wait, Dracula wanted me to draw him an image. He wanted me to draw. It's funny that as soon as you crop some percentage of the hand, it's just no longer a hand anymore. Okay, so here's what I like about this. I like 6 things about it. It's one device. You see your body and you see what you're doing, which I think is pretty fun and interesting. There's certainly some limitations to... Oh no, where am I? Come back, me. Hello, it's me again, Scott. Did I maybe forgot to introduce myself at the beginning of this video. Pardon me for one moment. I have an important message. I was wrong. It wasn't important. However, the Humble RPG book bundle is available. Okay. Why do I like this? I like it because it's a single device. I think it's fun to see yourself. I think it's fun to have like the... I feel like we could make a fun activity where you are doing weird stuff based on what's going on in the camera. I would be interested in learning more about how the hand tracker works and how the training works. I'd actually be kind of interested in going through that process to understand it myself, because I've done so very little, particularly with TensorFlow, just barely anything. But remembering that this project has both a in-museum and out-of-museum component. The out-of-museum component could be this hand-tracked, browser-based thing, and I think we could still make it work with Unity. I think it'd be kind of annoying, but not too crazy. I think it wouldn't be too terrible. I mean, that's a lot of overhead for a phone though, right? Like we're suddenly trying to do this complex computer vision while we're also trying to do render our scene. So that's like definitely a concern there for sure. Yeah, I don't quite know what I want to say about that yet. So we're not to the point of any conclusions. We're still in the very squiggly part of that. But as far as what goes on in the museum, we do have some of these other things we looked at, like this CubeMos tracker, for example, that we could have potentially better tracking on site. I mean, it's funny, I've looked at this and I was pretty sold on these RealSense cameras at first until I saw how noisy the depth images were. And once I saw how noisy the depth was, it started making a lot of sense to me how unstable these skeletons seem in a lot of cases. Like, extremely shaky. Oh, we don't need music. You really don't let me mute this? There is also the new version of the Kinect, that the Azure Kinect developer kit, but it's more expensive for sure. Well, thanks. Okay, we streamed for an hour and a half and we haven't actually like made anything yet. So I'm gonna say What am I going to say? I'm going to try this doodle thing. I'm going to take a short break. No, I think we learned some things. I think we made some progress. I think, we're definitely still in a very exploratory phase of this whole thing. So I want to play a little bit with this handtrack.js, I think. So let me take a short break and I will be back and we'll just try a glitch. We'll just make a glitch version of some kind of weird P5.js thing, I guess. Right? Is that what we want to do? Probably so. Okay, I will be back in a moment. Excuse me. Yesterday, I was trying to find some comfort mods for these charitable headphones. I think if I could just get a little padding here, I would be okay. But I don't have much to work with here. It is very possible that we will regain access to the museum in the coming weeks, and maybe I can just find some squishy thing. Put a nice squishy thing here. Or like a stuffed animal. I'll just put a stuffed animal, like a rubber duck or something. Hurt my head a little less. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna ignore that message for the moment. The whole couch cushion, it'll be a little big, but maybe so. There's a pillow over there. I will admit, I have already destroyed something in this apartment because Mansa, I'm sorry, her last name escapes me, an amazing artist. What is her last name? Yeah, she makes these amazing, like, huge lace sculptures out of rope. So she's been working on something enormously huge at the museum, but we've all been locked at the museum, so she has taken that time to, I should show this, to work on masks. And at first, she got a sewing machine but didn't have any fabric, so I took the pillowcases in this apartment and threw them out the window so she could grab them and make some masks, which she did, and she brought me some masks, which I'm super grateful for. Yeah, she does truly incredible work. So beautiful. That's her. She's awesome. Okay, so the summary there is I've already started destroying things in this apartment that isn't mine. I had to probably get an apartment of my own at some point. I don't know what to do about that. The world is a complicated place. So I think we just want to try this. Yeah, man. So this doesn't support web workers. Yeah, frame by frame. Sometimes a face is a hand, it says. You're right. Do what in code? What am I doing in code? I'm so bad at this. When you refer to something as this or that, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, do some of her lace work. It is very beautiful. It does kind of look like it could be something generative, almost like Verneuil, you know, like Verneuil. You know, like where you. Ooh. Love it. But there's something to this that kind of is evocative of her lacy work. You want to try to add some curves probably, which you can do. Just break the edges of everything. Cool. Okay, what are we doing? We are, so. Yeah, that is a problem, right? Like your hands are either there or they're not. There's no like click, you know, open hand, close hand, click. That is important. There's like no off state really, other than to hide your hands. As long as your hands are visible. This is cool. I'm impressed with this work. Where are you? Cloudera Fast Forward Labs. So this is cool, but it's not too much beyond proof of concept phase. Like, in fact, this is a very nice proof of concept. But in terms of like features and robustness, yeah. If you don't have a hand, hey, if you don't have a hand, that's very possible. We try to be as accessible as as we can be. And this hasn't been updated in 14 months. So like, my sense is that this is something this person worked on to kind of like prove out this concept, got it working, and then has moved on. It does not seem like it is actively developed. And unfortunately, I'm just not the person to optimize this because I just am not. Ooh. Sensitivity, life is yours. Yeah. I mean, the ID tracking seems relatively a slow-hanging fruit, but the optimizations seem non-trivial, and this seems heavy. But I still kind of want to just play with it a little bit. Not very long. Or maybe we play with it tomorrow? This is all. Is this all I need to do? Feeding the webcam, etc., etc., etc. What are we doing with this canvas? I don't understand why we even have that. I won't read it out loud. I'm going to moderate you. You're moderated. So it would take a bit more work. We'd have to, you know, there's definitely some work we would have to do. It'd be nice if there was a very minimal webcam tracking version. I mean, presumably we just have to do that ourselves, get the webcam, and then get the image every frame. So the get user media stuff, and I have that stuff somewhere. Definitely done it before. So, okay, before I get into this, let's just remember we also did this. So like, we have this kind of experimental, academic, interesting proof of concept that, you know, by the author's own admission is lacking in features and is not the best performance. We also have these features that are available inside Spark AR, which there's a ton of downsides to that. It's maybe a more robust, set of tools, but then suddenly we're married to this custom platform. So it's not how you spell skeletal at all. Body tracking, AR Kit 3 with Unity 3D, body tracking, etc., etc. That's my buddy. Gilmer. Valacios. how laggy it is. How slow it is to follow. I wonder why it's that slow. Is there just like some detection thread that's always that behind? Sometimes it doesn't seem too bad. So the ends of those points is where the hands would be. And you'd know something about orientation, at least up to the wrists, I think. So that's the ARKit version. Then we do have Sparky Studio. Oh no, you have to have a Facebook login. I think I'm not going to use it just because of that. I don't want a Facebook login at all. I mean, yeah, tying to Instagram, needing a 10-day review process, like, doesn't sound good. It sounds bad, in fact. The ARKit sounds good. Oh, there's just so many. This is a problem I frequently run into with kind of creative technology projects, is like I get interested in something that is, it's a silly term, but like cutting edge, like a relatively new thing. And it exists in the world and it's possible in the world, but like it's pretty shaky and the pieces are weird and nothing talks, you know, there's like, it's not very standardized. I'm torn on this. Well, just so we can say we made something today, let's try that hand track example, even though I think, unfortunately, it's going to be 75% of the time is just going to be me remembering how to get an image from a webcam. It'd be handy if I could just view the source code of that doodle example. Seems like it should. Like doodle, handtrack.js. Doodle is not in this repository. Wait. What? This says the repository was updated 4 days ago. Oh, GitHub pages. No, even that. What? I'm a little confused here. Is it just mistaken? Doesn't actually look like it has been updated.
Fatality.
I don't know, man. This is hand tracking. I see. So that's all the like underlying training stuff, I guess. So for a, let's just start this. Jazz hands. Delete everything. Fatality. Maybe I should just start an empty project. Is that a possibility? Okay, so this won't work. This hopefully does work. This. Why do you have the canvas and stuff in here when you're not actually using it? Maybe that's left over some earlier example. So now we need to do all the get user media stuff. And we can find that. Although I did verify this week that this software works, but I don't know if it's right. How do you get the webcam? Maybe I do that out here. Yeah, get user media stuff. Okay. Webcam. What's that? That's this. Okay. So let's just start with this and we'll just figure out what on earth we're doing. So we do need a thing called webcam, apparently. We have a features canvas and a triangle canvas. Let's just do this. Okay, let's see what's broken, because definitely everything's broken. I have to turn off this camera. I think I'm still audible. Console init is not defined. Of course it's not. So this is when we know we're done. I push on button. Wait, how did I end up with just the console and not the... Okay, so how does this work? Loaded. Okay, so that means we've loaded this. Why doesn't this work? Video, that's the source object. We load it. There's some other thing I needed to do. In webcam, we're doing it. We got it. It's just, then what do I do? Something inside a knit. I wrote this a long time ago. I don't remember how anything works. Oh, I gotta play. I gotta play the video apparently. It's me. Hi, it's me. It was me the whole time. It's me, Scott. There's my hand. Okay, so now we need to do something where every frame, I don't remember how to do this at all. There's some way that we can say every time, yeah. So we had some animate loop, and somehow we get the image data I not really how I did this. That doesn't seem like a very good way to do this. That must be why I had that other I don't love that. Can I just do a get, yeah, raw pixel? Do I have to draw it somewhere first? You have to, so we have to draw an image to somewhere. That seems silly. But I think that's how you do it. Okay, we'll do it my way. Yeah, so if we have enough data, we gotta do the thing, and that's all nonsense, and sure. Okay, so, yeah, because mine was like a two-piece process. So, we also need to, yeah, okay. And we will need, however, webcam canvas. This is just where we're going to draw the webcam to, because for some reason we have to draw it. So we do still want something like this at least. And this will be our, we want our webcam canvas, and we want our webcam context. And that'll be this, and that'll be this. And then we want to, every frame, draw the video to our I already had it in here. I'll just do it somewhere else. Okay, so every frame we're taking, we still have a big problem. Feature context not defined. View. So every frame we're drawing what's in this canvas to this canvas. And to do that is because we need this image data, which is kind of lame. I don't love it, but here we are. So what's the actual way to do this? So that's to, like, you know, this is all about the webcam. And then we need, like, and it's going to look something like, we want to load everything, and then once it's loaded, which will take some time, so we'll start out with an, I don't know, there's probably a tidier way to do this. We'll start out with undefined model. Once we get a model, we'll just set it. And now every frame, I assume this is the way to do this. I don't actually know. What'd I do? What'd I break? Where'd I go? Hi, it's me. that every frame now, as we get image data, that we want to do a detect and then log. We want to say if the model is not undefined, so presumably it's been loaded by the thing above. And it takes a while. Okay, we're starting to get predictions, which is nice. So now we have a prediction, and it's a bounding box and a score. So that's lovely. So now what do we want to do? We want to do what? I want to draw some boxes. So we're getting data, now we want to just draw some stuff. And the way I would like to draw some stuff is probably, well, we can do a few things. One, this video, we don't ever need to see this video because we're always drawing it somewhere. So let's just do display none for the style because we don't actually ever need to see that video. This is the context that we're drawing to is what we're seeing here. And then let's draw, well, okay, let's start making some styles. So the webcam, we want to say display none. And webcam canvas, we want to say probably something like position absolute, top 0, left 0. And then now we want to probably say something like because we're going to want a P5 canvas that just is going to sit right on top of this, but at a different Z index. Whatever, 100. So now we have a P5 canvas sitting on top of there. If I made this a color, it would draw on top after I make it actually exist. Okay, so now let's just steal some stuff from Mobile Dancer. Like P5. And there's a way to do, let's see. It's a way to like use a specific canvas, isn't there? Or you just have a place you can put it, bind to a canvas. That just puts it in a place. But I don't just want to put it somewhere. I want it to be either mine or let me have full control over it. I really thought there was a way to say use a specific canvas, not just parent it. Okay, well, let's try this. Let's just fake it. In fact, we could probably draw the webcam with P5 somehow, but I'm going to keep that separate at the moment. Wait, what are you showing me? One moment, please. Is it cool? That's very nice. I like it. So this is some kind of light table. It's probably rear projected underneath the table. And then some kind of object detection to detect the ring. A little bit of lag in the computer vision, but it still looks good. And it's got some kind of handy gesture detection. I assume that's what this is. Unless maybe this is like some fancy Surface table or something. You know, Microsoft Surface had the big fancy tables. It looks great. Okay, that is underneath. So what does this actually end up being called? Is it always the same? The default canvas 0, it's called. I just want to name the canvas. Is that a crime? Is it a class? Well, this says class and this says ID. So who am I supposed to believe here? Did I get a class named Lemon? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's do it. Unless I can do ID here. That would be great. That's what I actually want. ID. Okay, cool. So that ID will be P5 canvas, and then now that will sit on top of my face? Yes, it will. So if we clear every frame, and then we draw, let's just have one hand position to start with. So what do those look like? I already forgot. Let's just do this very simply and say that once this loads, we get some predictions, and inside those predictions, I have a hand. Oh, I have a hand. Why does it hit my hand so much? Okay. B-box. What does that actually define? Is that an XY with a width and a height? Don't know the answer. Is it you? What? Bounding box, array of bounding boxes. Render predictions. Draw bounding boxes on a canvas element. Oh, it can already do that. Oh, well. Maybe we don't need P5 at all to just start. Okay, let's momentarily comment that out. Just, well, we're gonna add it anyway, so let's figure it out. But the render predictions, what I don't know about the box is like the nature of the box. Like, is it, you know, 2 corners of a box? It is, XY width height. Okay, that's great. So What do I call this? Hand bounds. The 0th prediction V-box. Right? And then just to make sure we got it inside here. What did I break so badly? What happened? Okay, so an XYZ with height if that was just an array, yeah. So if it's not undefined, let's draw an ellipse. And that ellipse will exist at whoops. Something like this. Nailed it. Perfect. Totally nailed it. Job well done. Why is it so bad? Why is it so... Is it detecting my face? We should probably say, like... Okay. So X is inverted. So that's fine. So that's very easy to solve. No, not negative x, 1 minus x, right? Or with minus x. I thought the ellipse defaulted to center, but it looks like it's drawing it from... Doesn't seem like it's drawing it starting at the center and then... I mean, that should be what the... Right? That should be right. Maybe there's something about it, that it's XY. So I would assume it would be, but I don't really know. Like I'm losing this way more than I was in that other demo. I think it has a lot of problems in front of my face, I guess. So that seems like it should actually be minus half of the width, unless this really is corners. No, that really looked like it said XY width and height, but it must be XY from the corner. So that's one corner, but this is probably gonna be the wrong corner, right? Oh, wait, okay. The Y is now correct, but since we did the inversion, the corners are now weird. Oh boy. Okay, let's do center. And let's just do the math. Because it's not very complicated. My Y should be a plus. Hooray! Okay. We should also delete this, I guess, if we... That's just going to make it pop on and off a lot, probably. I mean, really, I would have some threshold, you know, like if it was gone for 10 frames, and I could do some dead reckoning if I tried to figure out where it was going, and on and on and on. I can only have one hand though. Doesn't like being in front of my face very much. But my tracking's worse than what we were seeing in those other demos. Why does that feel true? No, I want... Wait, where'd the live demos go? Is this my imagination? Oh. Doesn't this seem better? What am I doing differently? Why is this doing a much better job? Is this a newer version or something than what's on the CDN? That seems so much better than mine. I mean, there's really very distinct possibility that I did a poor job. I just did it the way I knew how. I mean, I know I'm drawing in a different way, and that's all fine, but it just really seems like my version is way worse. I don't know. Okay, but we have the basics of it working. Maybe we'll dive in another time and look into what it is. My face was a hand, once again. A hand face. But I think I'm done for today. We've pursued some ideas. I don't know if I like any of those ideas. But it feels worth, I still definitely feel like we're still in a stage where we need to be considering other options, like considering other possibilities. The hand tracking thing is, there's something to it. I don't have a ton of confidence in my ability to get that thing working really well, like super robustly well. I feel like that would be a lot of time for me working on just the hand tracking aspect and not working as much on, you know, making the thing that I want to make. But it's on the list now, so that's pretty good. So tomorrow we will do a more real stream again, like another residency stream that'll be kind of like getting started in creative technology, and I will just talk about some basic things like Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and Makey and Glitch and P5 and processing and those kinds of things, and hopefully some resources. So join me, won't you? Have a lovely evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.